Greetings, Professor Nalipa here with Dubspot.com. In this video tutorial, we'll explore some techniques inspired by two incredible conversations I had this past week. We'll look at the creative possibilities of using the simpler, along with some portamento, LFO, and delays. We'll also explore a great trick for crafting 8-bar drum patterns. First up, I had the great pleasure of catching Dorian Concept's insanely inspiring set at Low End Theory last week. Dorian Concept's a young Vienna-based producer who's developed his own completely original style of keyboard playing. He's been tearing it up at festivals around the world since bursting on everyone's radar with the massive tune Vertical Output a few years back. His latest release on Ninja Tune is called Her Tears Taste Like Pears, full of funky, synth-driven club heaters. He often sits in live improv style with his friend Flying Lotus when they cross paths internationally, and his series of YouTube videos fooling around with the MicroKorg, fooling around with the Alesis Micron, etc. are straight jaw-droppers. So I had the honor of chatting with him at length at Low End. Thought I'd share some tidbits from our inspiring conversation, drop some serious knowledge that would be helpful for any aspiring producer. Turns out he's not classically trained. He's actually completely self-taught. The great thing about what he has done is that he's really kept it simple and he's mastered his instrument, developing his own unique style. With all the tools we have available in our toolbox these days, it's easy to get overwhelmed. And the reality is that sometimes it's better to simplify and limit yourself. That is what he's done. He's truly mastered his MicroKorg and Micron and developed his own very distinct style of playing these instruments in the process. We talked about our shared appreciation of Square Pusher, who has actually a very similar approach, because mainly he limited himself to only using this one particular sampler for all of his productions pre-year 2000. That, along with his incredible bass playing, gave him a very distinct sound. Applying these concepts when you're working with Ableton Live, I strongly recommend finding a compositional process that works best for you. Also, finding a performance process that works best for you. These tutorial videos I've been doing, they're about sharing various production techniques, but it's up to you to find the ones that give you the best results and then develop them further. Put a few of these techniques together in your bag of tricks, and then work up becoming the master of them. Identify a few elements that will become your signature sound, and then go and create a body of work with that. Develop your meat grinder, then crank out the jams. So starting from scratch, let's build an instrument inspired by Dorian Concept. So we're going to go into our built-in live instruments and grab a simpler, drag it here, and drop it right on a blank MIDI clip. And then I'm going to load this with the sound. I'm going to go here into one of these three folders. Choose your library. You can go into the built-in section that has samples, waveforms, then you have all kinds of little audio files under components, go under spectral, and we have this analog triangle wave. I drag that in there. Now when I hit a note, not all that interesting, but if I turn the loop button on, alright, now it actually goes through and it loops it. There we have an interesting sound. Let's go now and record that sound as audio file, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take a more complex sound and drag it and replace it here into this simpler. So I'm going to double click here, and you can see I have a C and an E. This is a major third from each other, and I'm just going to highlight those two guys and just make a little MIDI note here so that when I play this clip, all right, it's going to just play those two. All right. Okay, and what we'll do, maybe actually, let's make the length longer so that we can experiment with that. I'm just going to do a little 4-bar, but I'm only going to record 2 bars. So on an audio track, choose either resampling or you're going to choose the input to be right from the output of that instrument. So now that I've got that selected, I'm going to record enable here. I'm going to just hit this button and it's going to record the note that's playing because this guy was queued up. So I'm just going to record that for like 2 bars. Now I've got that recorded. If I listen to that, all right, it's good. The only thing is we have this little bit of like a pop noise at the beginning, but we'll deal with that. All right, so now what I do is I go back to my simpler, or you can just drag a new simpler in. Let's do that just to keep it simple. And now I drag this audio file here and drop it in. So if I solo this guy, I'm just going to stop this from playing. And if I play notes on here, it's playing actually two notes. It's playing whatever note I'm playing plus the major third up from it. To get it here so that it's not actually going to get that weird clicky noise, I'm just going to drag this guy in a little bit so that we get past that into the meat and potatoes of the sound. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to turn loop on. I'm going to turn snap on, which is going to make sure that it snaps to a zero crossing and we don't get those clicks. So now if I play these notes, another thing you can do as well is you can turn the attack up a little bit. Alright, so we got that dialed, but let's make this sound a little bit more interesting, okay? So let's turn the LFO on, alright? So the LFO has two different values here for rate. You can either set it up as hertz, where it's some amount of time, or you can click on this little note here, and now it's a fraction of the tempo. So it's going to be a 16th note. So I'm going to turn the amount of LFO that's happening up a little bit, and if I play these notes again, alright, so it's got a little bit of a vibrato thing. Sounds like an old movie or something. If you go all the way up with the LFO, get a little crazy. So you got to find a sweet spot. I like to do it a little bit around 2-3%. But let's check out what happens if you increase the time here. The rate goes up to, let's say, 2 beats. Now that curve is happening much less frequently. So what's actually happening is it's kind of wobbling in and out of pitch. So check it out. All right, we still get that kind of click at the end there. So I'm going to increase this fade and then turn this loop down a little bit. So if I do decide I want to hold the note down, we end up getting this sort of weird My Bloody Valentine style wobble thing happening there. All right, so that's pretty interesting. Let's check out this glide section here. So this is where you can really get your Dorian Concept on. He is the master of portamento gliding synth sounds. All right, so portamento, if you set it to portamento, when you hold a note down and then you play the next note, it actually, you're going to hear the note slide between the two notes. Alright, so the portamento setting allows you to actually still play two notes, whereas if you set it here to glide, it becomes monophonic where you can only hold down one note at a time. Alright, so let's leave it there, and if you turn this value way up, actually you get a really interesting effect where it just kind of gives you that slow riser. All right, so finding a sweet spot, find a good amount of time that you're happy with. So, yeah, and this is something also, this can be mapped to a knob or fader. All right, so I like that. Now I'm going to go and add some audio effect. Maybe I'll add a little simple delay here on the send. All right, I already had one on there, so I'm going to just leave it there, and I've got my time set like 2-2 and turn the feedback up a little bit, and then we go to MIDI mapping, right? And I'm going to click here and turn a knob, and now you can see the value shows up and it's mapped. I get out of the map mode, so now whenever I want, I can send it out to that delay. So let's go and turn the metronome on and then maybe record a little phrase. Alright, so I had a little sloppiness there at the end, but that's okay. just click on the fold button here, and I'm going to grab the loop point. I really only needed those first 4 bars, so let's see what this sounds like. Turn off the record so we don't get the count in. Turn off the metronome. Got a nice little thing here going. Maybe turn the delay up. Alright, so now that we have this nice part, we can develop it further, add some drums, and that's exactly what we're going to do in the next tutorial. I picked up some great tips for programming drums this week from Matt Shadetech. He's a virtual guest in my class, live from his studio in Brooklyn. It's the other inspiring conversation I was telling you about. He dropped some serious knowledge on my students, including great advice on sequencing drums, which I'll share with you next week. Just to wrap it up, we took a look at creating your own instrument in Live. So we started with the blank simpler, loaded it up with a sound, played a chord and resampled that as audio, then dropped that audio file into a new blank simpler, dialed it in with the little LFO. We added some glide portamento to give it that Dorian Concept style sound. And then we mapped a MIDI knob here to this send effect going out to a simple delay. Now this is just the beginning. You can take this a whole lot further, and I encourage you to do so. Live is an incredibly flexible tool, and it's perfect for building your own ultimate performance instrument. Practice that instrument. Learn every nuance, master it, become a virtuoso on your own unique instrument. I mean, that was the big theme of these inspiring conversations that I had this week. It was all about developing your own unique sound. See the way Dorian Concept plays those keyboards of his? I know other people with those exact same synths, and nobody plays them like he does. He developed his own unique style and approach, and you can do it too. Ableton Live has almost infinite possibilities, so use it to create your ultimate battle weapon, then master that weapon, and make something inspiring with it. Again, I'm Professor Nalepa with Dubspot.com. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Welcome to Dubspot. We believe in providing you hands-on experience right away. Whether you're completely new to music and want to turn the sounds in your head into a musical reality, or you're an experienced artist looking to refine your skills and add new tools to your arsenal, we're ready to meet you at your level. For students of all ages, all levels, and all styles of music, Dubspot is here to help you achieve your goals. With course offerings both online wherever you are and at our school in the heart of New York City, we are ready to guide you through the next phase of your musical transformation. Whether you want to produce music, DJ, or do both, you've come to the right place. Come explore Dubspot for yourself. Become a part of our community and make music.